Hello and welcome to a special episode dropping today on the 16th of December. I hope you guys enjoyed the previous episode with regards to the Freedom Charter. It was something that resonated with me. This week, for our normal programming, we'll be doing Sharpville. I wanted to reflect on a moment I had recently at the Rugby Sevens. So we went on Saturday. My husband had booked in the family stand, which was great. It was myself, my husband, my daughter, his mother, my parents, a friend of ours, and another friend and his son, who we are very close friends with. The wife and the other son could make it. But anyway, the absolute joy in that stadium, the love, the help. It was just so good. And it's in those moments that when you experience it so freely given, and I was in the stand where there was no alcohol. So this is not alcohol-induced love. It just really feels like there's this undercurrent of we can do this. We literally can do this. There's a lot to be done, let me be clear. But in those moments, it really feels like, oh, we can do this, right? It was great. And if you ever want to go to a sporting event in South Africa that you can feel that moment, it's that. And then the other one was when we went to watch the ladies play the All Blacks at the Athlone Stadium. Also was incredible. And maybe it's a rugby thing. I don't know. But definitely is a vibe that everybody should experience and make you feel super patriotic. Now let's get on to this wonderful day and why the 16th of December. You know, for the longest time, the 16th of December was just where most people went on holiday day. The factories close in PE. There's a lot of factories, especially related to the automotive industry. So all the factories shut down. And that was just the start of when everybody was on leave. And that's all it meant. Few dates in South African history carry as many scars or as much possibility as the 16th of December. A day once claimed by conquerors, then reclaimed by freedom fighters, and finally framed by a young democracy desperate to bridge a century of division. Today we unpack the long, complicated, and transformative story of the 16th of December, the Day of Reconciliation. South Africa in the early 19th century was a place of movement, conflict, and flux. The Zulu kingdom under King Shaka had risen rapidly, reshaping the landscape through alliance and warfare. And again, I'm going to say it. If you ever read anything about this man and his brain on warfare, knowing what they had available to them, genius. Okay, not that I like warfare, but I like people that think outside the box. Then we had Afrikaner voortrekkers leaving the Cape Colony in large wagon trains, were moving inland seeking autonomy and land. These two worlds, the Afrikaner and the African, would collide. This collision would give birth to a myth that would shape white nationalism for generations. In the early morning of the 16th of December, 1838, that's how far back this goes, along the Ngome River, 274 trekkers under Andries Pretorius, a very Afrikaner name, faced thousands of Zulu warriors. Before the battle, the voortrekkers took a vow. If God grants them victory, they will commemorate the day forever. The fighting is fierce. The voortrekkers' gun positions create a deadly barrier. The river runs red. When it's over, the voortrekkers claim divine intervention. They name the site Blood River. The battle is known as the Battle of Blood River. and the date becomes sacred in Afrikaner collective memory. For generations, the story became a political symbol. And that's why we all know about the Battle of Blood River. One used to justify settlement, justify domination, and eventually apartheid. 1910, with the formation of the Union of South Africa, Afrikaner identity starts taking formal shape. Cultural organizations, newspapers, and churches enshrine the 16th of December as Dingaan's Day, and they just call it Blood River Day. Goodness gracious. Then, the Day of the Covenant in 1952, the name was officially changed to the Day of the Covenant or the Vow to emphasize the religious significance of the pledge. And then in the 1980s, converted straight into Day of the Vow, which reflected Afrikaner nationalist identity. Every year, thousands would gather, where church services, speeches, reenactments. The message is clear. Afrikaners saw themselves as a chosen people, protected by God, entitled to the land through blood sacrifice. By the 20th century, when the National Party rises to power, the 16th of December becomes an official holiday for the apartheid state. But in the shadows of the townships and exiled camps, another meaning is quietly forming. Fast forward to 61. The African National Congress, banned by the state, has a decision to make. Peaceful protest has been met with bullets. Sharpeville is fresh in the nation's mind. Leaders realize apparent legality will not end apartheid. And so, in secret rooms in Johannesburg, an armed wing is formed. Umkhonto Sizwe, the spear of the nation. Its leaders, Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Joe Slovo, and Governor Mbeki, and many more. They chose a date for MK's first acts of sabotage, attacks on power station and infrastructure. They chose the 16th of December. The symbolism is deliberate. If apartheid used this date to celebrate conquest, then the liberation movement would reclaim it to declare resistance. On that night, explosions ring out across the country. No civilians are armed. It is a message, not a war. A new chapter is written. The 16th of December becomes the day resistance takes up arms. Through the 60s and 80s, 16th of December became a powerful day for activists. In exile, the MK members hold commemorations in Tanzania, Zambia, and Angola. They march, sing, deliver speeches, remembering those lost in battle. In townships, student groups, and civic movements use the date to mobilize communities. Police often respond with raids, detentions, and tear gas. In prison, political inmates mark the day quietly with whispered songs, shared stories, or a simple nod through barred windows. Two narratives, two meanings, one used to enforce oppression, the others used to resist it. By the late 1980s, South Africa is on the brink. International pressure grows. Internal resistance becomes unmanageable. The state can no longer control the meaning of its own holiday. With the election of 1994, South Africa must decide what to do with the most divided date in its history. Should the 16th of December be abolished, ignored, or replaced? The new government chooses something far more ambitious. Reclaim it for unity. In 1995, the 16th of December becomes the Day of Reconciliation, a holiday that honors Afrikaner heritage and trauma, African resistance and struggle, the birth of Umkhonto Sizwe, and the desire for a peaceful future. Symbol meets symbol, history meets healing. In democratic South Africa, the 16th December carries layered meanings, which includes the one about everybody go on leave. The day acknowledges that we came from histories that clashed violently, histories that can't be erased. Every year, government and communities use the day to confront new challenges: inequality, racism, xenophobia, crime, land reform, and justice. all say those are very, very important factors and topics that need to be discussed and confronted in our country. Reconciliation is not an event. It is a process, ongoing, evolving, demanding. It asks every generation, what does it mean to build a shared country from such different memories? The answers are never simple, but the conversation matters. The 16th of December is more than a holiday. It is a mirror reflecting South Africa's deepest wounds and its greatest aspirations. A day once used to divide, now used to unite. A day once tied to bloodshed, now tied to healing. A day that holds both the pain of the past and the promise of the future. Because reconciliation is not forgetting, it is remembering together, collectively. Thank you for remembering and coming with me down this journey about the 16th of December. And I'll see you on Thursday. Enjoy the holiday. Bye, everybody.